Hey guys, this is SansCorpsTarot and I am back again with another pick a card reading. This time we are going to be looking at what your current challenges are. What current challenge are you facing? And so we're going to be looking at that, but just kind of a little bit. We're mainly going to be looking at the advice for you. And we're going to get clarification on what exactly this challenge is, what it's supposed to be bringing to your life, how it's supposed to change you, or what you're supposed to learn from it, basically. And so we have 3 piles for you today. Pile 1, you have this crystal. I think it's aquamarine, not positive. Pile 2, you have this crystal. Couldn't tell you what that is. Pile 3, you have this crystal. Could not tell you what that is. But okay, so I think you should probably meditate on the energy of the challenge that you're currently facing, and then go to whichever group you feel matches the energy of that challenge. Whichever group whose crystal you feel matches the energy. Because I'm filming this intro after I already filmed the groups, so you'll see that it's a different background and everything in the actual piles, and I did base it off of the crystals, so try to connect to the crystals the best you can, but of course use whatever method you resonate the most with. But I will see you guys in your reading. So hello, crystal number 1. So we're just going to be pulling some cards right now on what challenge you currently have. And hold on, I'm just going to start my timer so that I don't go over time at all, because I do have somewhere to be specifically also, so I can't really. Before, I'd have like goals or benchmarks of how long I'd want the readings to be, and sometimes I'd go over and it wouldn't really matter too much, but today I have an actual obligation. Alright, let's see, what is pile number 1? What is the challenge that pile number 1 is going through? What is the challenge that pile number 1 is going through, Spirit? What is the challenge that pile number 1 is going through? 9 of Swords. A classic type of challenge. It's a challenge. Yep, it's a challenge, you know it. You're aware of it. It's giving you anxiety. It's making you stay up late. It's making it probably a little hard for you to sleep, but you're feeling like you're actively fighting people and having to defend yourself. This is a very inactive, but then this is a very active card. I mean, this is physically inactive and physically active, but I think this is mentally active. That's the energy it's giving me. It's like mental defensiveness and then physical defensiveness too. Oh, okay. So let's see. This is interesting. So I'm going to get some clarifying cards. We're going to see if any other card wants to come out. Oh my gosh, 10 of Swords. So you have the 9 of Swords and then finally the 10 of Swords. So there's something that you need to surrender to. You are holding a little too tightly onto something, which is interesting because usually you see people holding tightly onto something when they don't want to put in really the action or energy to defend it. But I mean, I'm feeling like you are actively defending it too. You're not just sort of sitting here holding tightly onto something. You're holding tightly onto something and then you're putting it behind your back quickly and then using the other hand to fight off people and defend yourself. So this is some very has a little bit of intense energy. I am going to be clarifying these cards. I'm trying to decide which deck I want to clarify them with. I think I'm going to clarify them with the same deck. I want more of the same energy to be sort of understood. So let's see this 9 of Swords. I mean, these are very classic sort of challenge cards, which is very interesting because in my mind's eye, as I was sort of shuffling the cards for this group, I was I was kind of feeling like this was going to be the energy of the cards coming out, because these are very much the cards that I envision when I picture like a challenge that you're undergoing. These are very much like sort of like the classic challenge cards, you know, especially like the Seven of Wands. That's just so like defensive and aggressive to me. But clarifying the Nine of Swords, you have the Star. So there seems to be... Oops, sorry, I have to plug in. Oh, wait, what? I think that my laptop's supposed to already be plugged in. Hold on, let's see. Hold on. I have to make sure that it's charging. You can like see my face on this now. Hold on, let's pause. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. My laptop had to like charge. Or like wasn't plugged in. It was plugged in, but it wasn't charging. Anyway, so you have the Star card to clarify the Nine of Swords. So I think that there's a dream. There's a dream that either you're holding too tightly onto some sort of dream. There is some sort of... Because I mean, these are both, so this is like a very, you know, he's in his bed in this card, in the Nine of Swords, so it is like a very like sleep-based, I mean, this card is about like, you know, almost like anxiety, giving you insomnia, and then this is a card that's very classically like dreamy energy. So I think there is some sort of energy where, you know, I think there could be like a dream that you have that you're really holding tightly onto, and you feel like you're using your all to sort of fight your way towards achieving that dream. But I think that deep within you, you sort of realize that it's not aligned with you quite exactly. So Seven of Wands clarified by the Page of Cups. So I think that it is an energy of... I'll give you a personal example. So for my whole life, I felt really connected, you know, emotionally to becoming a doctor, because I knew that I really wanted to help people, and I knew that I also, you know, I was interested in science. So I was like, okay, I have like the capacity to do the doctor duties, but I never felt really attached to what a doctor did. And so there, deep within me, there was like always this seed of doubt. But externally, I knew, you know, no, like it all makes sense logically, you know, through the checklist of things to being a doctor, like it all makes sense that I should pursue this path. And so I did very adamantly pursue it. And then ultimately, you know, when it really was crunch time and I had to like, you know, think about really like applying to medical schools, I had to really sit down and think and, you know, realize and understand that the anxieties that I was feeling deep within myself, like were red flags for a reason. So I'm thinking that it's something similar. There's a dream that you're holding on to very tightly. Ooh, the Hermit. Yeah, so it's confusing. It's both like, I mean, it's a challenge, but it's also like a dream that you do have. So it's not like a classic, which is weird because these are the classic challenge cards, but it's not a classic challenge of like someone else giving you an obstacle, you know? Like a little bit when I was coming to this reading, like the challenge I'm going through is very much like another person interfering in my life and trying to bring me down. But this challenge seems more insular. It seems more like it's based on you. And right now, Born This Way by Lady Gaga is playing. So I think that this challenge for you is that you're sort of you're holding on to a path, a dream, something that you feel really connected to. You feel really attached to. Wow, the Ten of Swords, connecting the Ten of Swords is the Nine of Cups. So the challenge is in, you know, recognizing that even if this is giving you exactly what you want, like it's not meant for you, you know, like being a doctor could have given me the lifestyle I wanted. It could have given me, you know, money and flexibility of, you know, schedule at times and stuff like that. But ultimately it just was not exactly the career that is meant for me. And so I think that that's sort of that's what your challenge currently is. It's that you see this thing, and I mean, these lower energy cards are sort of a lot more neutral slash positive compared to the initial energy. And so I think that this is a little bit like, you know, you're fighting a lot to see this Nine of Cups energy in whatever it is that you're fighting to defend yourself against releasing. And so you see the Nine of Cups, you see, oh, it can give me, you know, fulfillment. But this Nine of Cups is still just the Nine of Cups. It's not yet the Ten of Cups. And so, I mean, you do have the Ten of Swords right above it. So I'm thinking that, you know, your final sort of, you know, realization this challenge is going to be, or your final stage in this challenge is going to be surrendering, realizing that it'll only ever stay at the Nine of Cups. It's never going to give you the entire, like, fulfilled Ten of Cups, because there is just something a little bit missing from what you're currently so desperately attached to. So right now, that's your current challenge. Currently, your challenge is you're very much holding tightly onto something that is not meant for you. It's something that does give you anxiety, something that maybe on the surface seems very good for you and seems like it'll fulfill you and give you all that you're looking for. But I think that if you really like take the time to introspect, you'll realize that there is something that leaves you a little bit uneasy when it comes to fully thinking about and embracing the future of you and whatever this is that you're holding so tightly onto. I think there is something that's sort of eating away at you deep within that's telling you, like, there is something wrong with this. I should sort of move past this, but we'll see what your advice is. So let's get some advice. Let's get some advice for pile 1. I'm getting the energy that this probably is not a relationship. It is probably more so something like, or it's probably not a romantic relationship. If it's a relationship, it's probably going to be a friendship, and maybe even, you know, whatever this is, I think that it's something you're very connected to, but I don't think it's something that's very grounded in your life, you know? I think that it's probably something that you really want to hold tightly onto, and you think maybe it's a little easy to hold tightly onto it, but I think once you begin the process of releasing it, you'll understand that it's very easy to release because it was never really meant to stay with you to begin with. So even if this is a friendship, I think it's a friendship, maybe even if it's someone that you've been in a relationship with for a long time, or if it's someone that you just feel really connected to really quickly, I think that you'll see that, you know, regardless of what the situation is, that they can be released very easily. You know, they're not nearly as tethered to your life. I feel like you're doing the work to keep it tethered to your life. It's not naturally attuned to staying in your life. I think that you are very much fight and become defensive about keeping it in your life. And so I think that it could be something like, it could also be something like just like a lifestyle, you know, like maybe it's like a group of friends that you're outgrowing and you're just really not wanting to outgrow them. And so you want to, like, you're doing everything you can to keep talking to them. But also it could be something, you know, like a career, like you're realizing you're outgrowing a career, or like a life path, you know. I know for me, when I was trying to become a doctor and go to medical school, I know that I encountered so many obstacles to fulfilling the prereqs to, you know, going to med school. So like all the courses I need to do, all the extracurriculars, it was just very difficult for me to pursue those opportunities, and so I was already given like intuitive hints that I was pursuing the wrong thing because there were just so many obstacles in my path. So your advice is the Tower. Your advice is to just sort of let it go. Your advice is to, but the Tower isn't really like it's not like a self, like you're controlling it even. I think that your advice is to just simply not fight so hard to hold on to this thing and to let it leave you itself. 5 of Cups, yeah. So I think that eventually, like, you will be feeling this way, I mean, which is always a tough energy to be in, but I mean, you do have the 6 of Cups on the back of the deck, so there's definitely like a reward, a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that your advice is to know that you're going to feel this way. You're going to feel like in the 5 of Cups, you're going to feel a little abandoned. You're going to feel like you don't have any good options, especially after like you sort of let this thing leave. You're going to feel a little bit desperate, a little bit destitute. But I mean, your advice is just knowing that you're supposed to feel that way, because you know, endings aren't really supposed to be that comfortable. They're supposed to be uncomfortable. And because you were sort of, you were a little bit deceiving yourself when it comes to like what this thing exactly is. So I think that naturally, like, letting it leave you is going to be a little bit depressing, because you know you do still have on a little bit of rose-colored glasses when it comes to it. I think that ultimately when you release your firm hold on it and you let it leave, I think that you will eventually learn that it was for the best, definitely. Knight of Pentacles, yeah. So I think that you'll see that, you know, your advice is to look for something else. Your advice is to, you know, finally accept that this thing is not going to be what you want it to be. It's not going to give you what you want it to give you. And I think that right now your spirit team, it's not even telling you, it's not even telling you for you to directly cut something off, but it's telling you to release your firm grip on it, to set your sights on other things, and to just sort of be open to the energy of receiving something that is aligned with you, that can replace whatever it is that's leaving your life. So if this is a friend group you're outgrowing, you need to, you know, be open and receptive, and also put yourself out there a little bit and put yourself into context to be able to make new friends, meet new people, make new friend groups. Let's see, what else is your advice? So the Ace of Pentacles, yes, I think that you will be given something, and I think that soon after this, you know, because you are sort of like a dreamer type energy, and I think that that's what makes it also very hard for you to let go of things. I think that like once you're connected to people and things, you really, like, you see it all the way through, or you want to. I think that you are probably a very loyal energy. I think that you may think that you're very discerning when it comes to who you want to give out your energy to, and I think that you are that way, but I think that in this case you just you got it a little bit wrong. You know, the energy that you thought you discerned was not exactly the energy that you thought it was. And so I think that you will be given something very new, you know, with the Knight of Pentacles, and then the Ace of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, your advice is to just be open and to just be on the lookout, you know, orient yourself as this knight would, and then eventually you will be quite literally just handed something to replace this. You know, but you are going to need to, and I'm not even, you know, I'm getting the idea that it's going to be like a gradual unmeshing. You know, I'm getting the idea that it's not going to be all of a sudden you cutting off a person. It could be, take what resonates, take what you feel comfortable with doing, but I'm feeling like mostly it's just going to be your advice right now, because you are clinging so tightly onto this thing. I think that it's just simply not that feasible for you to take charge and cut it off. But I think that what your advice is to just don't be so defensive about holding on to it. Let the red flags come as they are. Don't try to dispute the red flags. Just let yourself acknowledge what you acknowledge. Go with the flow. See and observe as a third party how this situation is making you feel, and the red flags it may be giving you. And I think once you're able to take that tempered approach, I am getting sort of temperance energy from this. Once you get that sort of like tempered approach, then the universe is going to hand you something that you're able to see is clearly much better than what it is that you are holding so tightly onto. Yeah, Three of Cups. Yes, so there is that light at the end of the tunnel. There is something out there that truly does have the energy that you thought this thing has. You know, there's going to be something out there that is worth holding so tightly onto, but it's going to be something that you don't really need to hold that tightly onto. Like, it's going to be a joyous energy. If this is a friend group you're leaving, it's going to be friends who you don't have to question the loyalty of them. You don't have to, you know, beg to hang out with them or to beg them to invite you places. It's going to be a very balanced connection. And if this is just like sort of like, you know, a career path or something, it's going to be a career path that is going to, you know, it'll have all of the bonuses of whatever it is that your career path you're leaving, but it'll also have the additional bonuses of being truly emotionally fulfilling for you, and like something that does fill you with this Three of Cups energy. So, you know, for example, right now, instead of being a doctor, I realize I just love helping people, and my main skill is emotionally helping people. So instead of being a doctor, I am trying to become a therapist. And so it has a very similar, like the perks that I found in being a doctor, they're also there with being a therapist, but being a therapist just sort of is aligned that much more with, you know, me. And so it makes me feel a lot more content and secure in making that decision. Page of Swords, yeah, so you're gonna be handed this energy. You're going to be handed this energy, the Ace of Pentacles, and you are going to see it for its potential, because you are a very strong energy. You're a very persistent energy. You don't take leaps, and you don't cling tightly onto things willy-nilly. So you're going to see the potential in whatever it is that is going to be brought to you to naturally replace this thing, and you're going to see its potential, and you are going to pursue it, and it's going to sort of help you unlodge yourself from this past energy, because you'll see the potential of what is being offered to you. And so I am probably getting, for most people, this is probably things like connections, friendships. Yeah. But okay, pile one, I'm going to leave it there. I had my little timer that went off. I'm very happy with this message. I think that, you know, we got as specific as we needed to, but we kept the, you know, I'm glad I feel like it wasn't just sort of generic message, which was a little bit what I was worried about would happen with doing a video like this. But, okay, pile one, we're going to leave it there, and we're going to move on to pile two. Hello there, pile two. Let me just start your timer. All right. Timer is started. So now what we are going to do is we are going to get some cards about what challenge you're currently facing. So let's do it. Let's get some cards. Let's find your challenge. All right, what is pile two's challenge that they're currently facing? Oh my gosh, Seven of Cups. So maybe it's a little bit of like, I want to say analysis paralysis is coming to mind. So maybe you have a little bit too many options. We have Temperance too. Maybe you have a little bit too many options. You're feeling a little overwhelmed from them. I'm already getting an energy of like, you know, the advice is probably going to be something like, just take a step back. The Hierophant, ooh, yeah, so it's gonna, I'm already getting an energy that your advice is gonna be something like take a step back and try to take, you know, a rational approach to making whatever choice it is that you want to make. Oh my gosh, and then we have the Six of Wands. So let's get some clarifying cards about this energy, because this is very nice. So let's see, we have the Seven of Cups, the Temperance, the Hierophant, and then the Six of Wands. So let's see. So, I mean, you're wanting to manifest something. You're wanting to be, I don't know if you're wanting to manifest something or you know, the universe is giving you something, but let's see. So we have the Nine of Wands here for the Seven of Cups. Yeah, so I'm getting an energy that you're very worried about manifesting something. Maybe you have a lot of choices in front of you, and you really want to manifest something specific, but you're really worried about making the wrong choice. Three of Wands from the Temperance cards. Yeah, so it could be, I mean, it could be like a pretty big decision that you're making. It could be something about like, I don't know, about like moving somewhere. Oh, wow. And then we have the Two of Wands right next to it, clarifying the Hierophant. So it could be, oh my gosh, I mean, hold on, let's continue. Let's continue. The Six of Wands. Clarify the Six of Wands, please. Oh my gosh, okay, so honestly, this is like a pretty specific message. Take what resonates. I feel like for some people, what could be going on, what the challenge could be, is I think that you're presented with many options, and I think that one of these options could bring you, take you to a physical distance, and I think that there's some relationship or connection in your life that is maybe having you second guess that option. This is very confusing energy. Alright, let's say. So 7 of Cups being clarified by the 9 of Wands. So yeah, you're very worried about this decision that you have to make. I think that's what's throwing it out of balance, is that it's something like there's some energy of like, you know, it'll be creating a third energy. And this is this isn't that much of a travel card, but it to me it is a little bit. Like, look at him looking out in the distance, his back is turned towards us. So I think, you know, I think that like one of these options that you're faced with is going to be bringing you somewhere new. And then right after that we have the Hierophant and we have the 2 of Wands. And so I'm thinking like that could be it. I think that, so really what I'm getting from this pile is take what resonates, but it could be something like you're being faced with an opportunity to go abroad or just to move somewhere, to pursue a new opportunity. So this could be career, this could be love. Let's see what it is. Let's see what this is. So there is, so with this Hierophant though, it's something like you're excited about this opportunity. You're excited about, like, I feel like it gives you the 2 of Wands. I was very confused about, like, you know, the relationship aspect of this, because there are some sort of, like, romantic energy cards that are here. The 6 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, and then the 2 of Wands. The 3 of Wands, at first, it wasn't giving me romantic energy, but then once the 2 of Wands came out right afterwards, it did. So, I mean, I think it could be something like, you know, maybe you're leaving a significant other, or you would have to go long distance, or even if it's just like, you know, your family. I think that whatever it is, you're going to be leaving a situation that's comfortable for you. You're going to be, it's going to, you know, taking this opportunity, that this is sort of why you're in this sort of 7 of Cups analysis paralysis, because, you know, taking this opportunity that seems like it'll, you know, it'll be the 2 of Wands, it'll take you where you want to go, it'll be like this uniting, perfect union. You feel like you're going to leave some people out in the cold. You're feeling like you're leaving behind probably a part of yourself also. So it's a little bit challenging of a decision to make. But let's get some more energy on what exactly it is, you know, that you'd have to be leaving behind. Gold, you don't need someone else to fix you. Okay, so what this is doing is you are leaving behind other people, and this person is like, the energy of that this picture gives me is like a childhood home. So I think that it could be just something like you're gonna have to, you know, an opportunity to move to a new place completely, to an opportunity to yeah, put yourself out of your comfort zone. So let's see. Yeah, so I think that your next big challenge is you're being offered something. I mean, and I'm getting that this is sort of it's a little bit of like, you know, a creative thing. So I think that you have an energy where your career is probably very deeply intertwined with just like your energy. And so I think that you're the type of person who, like, whatever career it is, you know, it's something that you're very passionate about, or whatever you want to pursue in life, it's going to be something you're very passionate about. And it's going to be, you just have sort of an innately creative aspect to yourself. So I think that, because look at all the wands here, such fire, such passion. You could really be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But so what I'm getting is that your challenge is you're going to be given an opportunity, or you have been given an opportunity, and it's going to be an opportunity that will probably physically bring you away from somewhere. And even if it's not going to, you know, there's some energy of dislodging you. So even if it doesn't bring you, like, you know, to a different state, maybe it could just mean like it's going to bring you to a different city. I feel like there is some aspect to like moving. I think that you're going to be in a new context, a new situation, and that's what this Seven of Cups is about. It's you contemplating, do I really want to be in this new situation? And I think it's you realizing like, yes, whatever this thing is that's being offered to me, it is something that I do want, you know, commitment with. It's something that I want to be in union with, you know, if this is, you know, it could be like just a really good like internship opportunity, maybe even just for the summer or something, but it's something that is going to like dislodge you from where you're currently at physically. It's going to bring you into a new energy, a new like context, a new situation. And so you're going to you're going to have to make that decision. And I think that you're going to feel like I think you're going to feel like when you're crowned with this, like when you're given this opportunity, I feel like you also innately feel like you're going to be left out in the cold somehow, or you're going to have to leave someone out in the cold, you know? I think that it's going to entail sort of a change of comfort zone. You're going to have to move outside of your comfort zone, which is never that easy. But I mean, let's get some advice right now. So I'm definitely getting the energy that this is probably, yeah, this has something to do with like just, you know, career, hobby. You could like win a scholarship thing that takes you abroad or something. You know, this could be like, you know, winning tickets to go to a music festival that's far away. It's something that, you know, you're going to have to put yourself out on a limb for a little bit, just because you're so sort of used to being in a comfortable energy. You're sort of used to being in the same energy. And I think that you're someone who like, maybe you dream about change and you fantasize about it, but actually having it ground for you is a little overwhelming. So let's get some advice now. So that's going to be what your next challenge is. Let's get some advice. All right, sorry. Let's get some advice for this. I mean, already before I was getting an energy of, you know, just because of like the pure chaos in this card, it is a little bit of like analysis paralysis. So right now, already intuitively, what I'm getting is probably write out a list of pros and cons of this opportunity that you're being given, because it does feel, you know, I am getting an energy of like an Ace of Pentacles, but also I'm feeling like it could be like multiple things, you know, like it could be something like you just got into colleges and you got into like a lot of different colleges in a lot of different places. You're just feeling a little overwhelmed in choosing, and maybe one of the options is something that's a lot more comfortable, you know, maybe it's like something like a school that's close to home that a lot of your friends are going to. Maybe other options are like things that are further away that you know less people going there, etc., etc. Oh my gosh, your advice, the Five of Pentacles. So I think your advice is to understand that like regardless, you're going to be leaving something behind. Regardless, I feel like you're coming into a phase of your life where you're going to need to make uncomfortable decisions. You're going to need to put yourself out there in some respects. And so I think what you're just sort of being encouraged to do is realize that like regardless, you're going to feel a little bit like the Five of Pentacles, but you just need to make sure that that doesn't consume you. You're going to feel like you're abandoning some things, because your first card was the Seven of Cups, so you do have just so many choices. And so regardless, you're like having choices means that you're going to inevitably choose to not pursue some things. And then judgment. So yeah, your advice is to fairly judge the situation. I was going to say like make a list of pros and cons, you know? And so if this is something that's more temporary, you know, maybe that could be a pro or a con. If it's something like college, you know, it's like 4 years. So, you know, in your list, you could be like, I would be leaving, but I would only be leaving for a finite amount of time. And if I didn't like the new place I'm in, then I could always come move back home. You know, so it's something you are supposed to take a sort of very tempered, even-keeled approach to sort of evaluating the situation, evaluating all of the options, because you do have a lot. So I think that you're being called to really sort of sit down and think through them evenly and fairly. The Fool, yeah, so I mean, very much this is energy of like the ball is in your court, so you know, you're the Fool, you can make whatever happen when you want it to happen. But I mean, I think that you're also being called to embody the Fool, you know? So it's like, even if you do want to make the choice to stay in that comfortable energy that you're in, I think that you're being called to not do that. I think you're being called to sort of step out on a limb and do something new. Five of Swords. Yeah, so I think that you, I think it does worry you. So Five of Pentacles being clarified by the Five of Swords. I mean, and which is so weird because the Five of Swords is mistletoe, and mistletoe, that's like the herb on it. So this is like the herbalist deck, I think. And which is weird because mistletoe is like a, you know, it's like the kiss underneath the mistletoe. It's like a union, unifying energy. But it's the Five of Swords. So I mean, there's going to be some sort of inevitable ending with this because you are going to be choosing to leave something behind. You're going to be making a choice, so you're going to be choosing to not pursue some things. So you're sort of just being called to understand that just because you have negative emotions after making this choice does not mean that it was the wrong choice. It just means that you did make a choice at all, you know? And so like it's always hard making a choice because then like things are shut down, you know, what you didn't choose is automatically shut down, and that's going to be very uncomfortable for you to feel. So it's your advice is to understand that you're gonna feel like you're abandoning things. You're gonna feel like maybe you didn't make the right choice, but regardless, whatever choice it is that you did make, if you made it with this sort of very fair, like almost like I'm getting like a judge, you know, like a judge type you know, fairness to evaluating the situations, and then you truly like take this leap of faith or like pursue this opportunity after truly thinking it through. I think that, you know, you're gonna, it will be the right decision as long as you do, you know, as long as you ensure that you actually think about the decision, it'll be the right decision. The High Priestess, it's gonna, like, it'll work out how it's supposed to. And I mean, maybe that's not the most comfortable way, maybe it's not going to work out in the best way for you, or maybe you, in the moment you think it's a little uncomfortable, but ultimately, you know, it'll bring you to the place where you want it to be. And it is like, yeah, it's again just a ball is in your court energy. So, you know, even if you do decide to pursue this thing, I think that you do always have like the ability to rescind that decision and to sort of like revert back to anything else, you know? So it's like, even if you do choose to go to college, like in a different state, you like, you know, yeah, it's a hassle, but you can always transfer if you feel like that's the best decision for you. So it's an understanding that even if you make this decision, that decision is not necessarily binding. And as long as you're like fairly thinking through each of your choices as you make them, you should not have too much worry about making those decisions. Queen of Cups. Yeah, you just have to, believe in yourself a little bit more. You have to validate your own emotions and feelings, but don't be overtaken by them. And then you have the Strength. That's beautiful. Yeah, validate your emotions and feelings. Like, you know, you want comfort and everything, but you also need to understand, like, you know where making sure keeping yourself in the comfort zone is not the best for you. You know where it's sort of stinting your growth to sort of remain in that energy. And I think you're being called, your advice is to fairly evaluate each of your options and to really think critically about, you know, the type of person that you are and the type of person that you want to be, and then the type of person that your actions sort of imply you are, you know? So I think that you do have an energy of, you're a little bit in your head. I am kind of a little bit getting like star energy. You're a little bit in your head. You're kind of like, you fantasize about the future and all these beautiful new things, but then when it comes to actionizing that, it's very difficult for you. I think that you don't like to be uncomfortable. You don't like to put yourself out there in different situations. I think that honestly, before coming to this reading, your decision probably you were leaning towards rejecting whatever choices were brought to you and remaining in your comfortable energy. And I think that you're really being called to sort of give credence to the possible pros about the options that you're being given, and to really critically think about pursuing that, because they could, turn out in your best interest. But I think regardless, critically thinking about the choices that you're given is going to give you insight into who you are and what actions you need to take to become the person you want to be. But okay, pile 2, I am going to leave your reading there. I'm appreciating these energies because, yeah, again, it's not too general. I was, again, worried, about the challenges energy. I didn't want it to be too vague, whatever messages were coming through, but I feel like, between pile 1 and pile 2, at least, they were definitely distinct enough messages, which I very much appreciate. So, pile 2, I'm going to leave this there. If you liked this reading, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, let me know what resonated, let me know what readings you want to see. But keep in mind that I'll only do readings that I resonate with, that are aligned with my energy. But I am going to leave your reading there, pile 2. And now we're on to pile 3. Hey guys, hey pile 3. If you chose this crystal, this will be your reading. I know that my setup looks quite different, and that is because this is I think a week and a half after I filmed the other readings, including the intro. So I just spent the past 20-40 minutes listening to the first half of the readings, the first 2 readings, to just sort of refresh myself on what's going on. I was on a little trip. It was very fun, and now I am back and ready to continue and excited to continue. The entire time on my trip, I was honestly very excited to come back. So this is good. At first, I'll admit, when I started out this channel, I was a little iffy on how sustainable it would be, just because I tend to not have the most energy. But I forget that I do have a good amount of energy when it comes to, just things that excite me and things that bring me joy. And right now, it seems that tarot reading for a non-discriminate audience is what's bringing me joy. So, all right. So pile 3, if you chose this crystal, this will be your reading on what current challenges are you facing. So let's look at it. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I feel like I'm happy with how the first 2 readings in this one went. I wasn't too sure about how great of messages I'd be able to get for a reading that, is not a love-based reading, just because I do tend to have such specific interests, and if I'm not really highly interested in something, I really cannot get into it enough to do things like channel messages. But so yeah, I'm excited that my tarot reading interests are expanding, because that's always, an exciting thing to be able to branch out and experience other energies. Because, the future spouse readings, they do somewhat get, over time, repetitive. Because, if you're only spitting out that sort of content, there's only so many different messages that you can, reveal. And also because, future spouse, theoretically, the way I'm channeling it is someone that you want to be in a long-term relationship with, and I think there are only so many attributes that a long-term partner could have, because a lot of attributes that I feel are very common in people are not very, not very welcoming to being in a long-term energy. But okay, that's just a completely random rant, sorry. But right now we're going to talk about what current challenges you're facing, and who knows, maybe it's relationship based, because I kept ranting about that. But let's see, pile 3, what current challenges pile 3 facing? The Hanged Man just came out, so I mean, that's definitely giving me some sort of like relationship energy somewhat, even if it's not romantic relationship. I mean, there's like just a dynamic innately. There are 2 people in this card, and it's like one person helping out the other person. Oh my god, this camera is so much closer because just, yeah, I'm in a completely new setup because I'm, you know, in the process of moving and also just in the process of vacationing, so it's been a lot. But the Hanged Man, so yeah, so you see how like this person is just, you know, feeding the other. It's a symbiotic energy. That's what word is coming to me. Mutually symbiotic. Oh my gosh, and we have the Lovers. Okay, so this definitely could be like a relationship type struggle. So I mean, the Lovers is the choice card. The Hanged Man is about letting go and letting someone else help you. Oh my gosh, and the 6 of Wands. So actually, in the last reading, I think that pile 2 got the 6 of Wands, I think, in the exact same place. So you could possibly have messages in pile 2, and that's so interesting. I love seeing that, you know? I love seeing not only the same cards, but in the same place. That makes it so much more powerful to me, you know? But okay, so, and there's just such like a dualistic aspect to all of these cards, you know? In each of them, there are 2 people. That's so interesting. And each of them, you know, a man and a woman. So I usually don't get this message, but maybe this is a heterosexual relationship or a cishet relationship. But that's funny because usually I get like, you know, this is a LGBT relationship, because that's something that I personally relate to more. But oh well. This could definitely be, or this could even just, you know, be talking about, this could be a relationship in your life with someone of the opposite gender. You know, take what resonates. If you do identify as having a set gender, it could be someone, you know, of the opposite gender. Oh my gosh, so I mean, what current challenges are you facing? So I guess, like, there's a dualistic aspect of this card, and there's also, you know, there's a giving energy. There's a giving energy in this card, and then there's almost like an opposite giving energy in this card, you know? In this card, it's almost like desperation, the woman feeding the man for him to survive, and in this card, it's like the man crowning the woman as just sort of like an extra, excessive, superfluous thing. And then in the Lovers, it's like an equal exchange, you know, they're there on equal footing, right next to each other, just both sort of, actually the woman is handing the man something and he's reaching out to get it, and they have very similar stances and everything. So I guess, I mean, we'll wait until we get clarifiers, but this definitely has to do with a relationship in your life. It definitely has to do with another energy. Oh my gosh, the World, completion. It probably has to do with you learning a lesson in a relationship context. So let's get some clarifying cards for the Hanged Man. So yeah, because the World talks about completion. So the Hanged Man is getting clarified by the 7 of Swords. So this is telling me that I think that it's probably you who needs to be in this sort of letting go energy. I think it's you who needs to be, sorry, my legs are like creating a shadow. Yeah, I think it's you who needs to be in a letting go energy. I think that you probably are thinking, though, that in letting go, you're probably watching out for deceit. I'm getting almost, yeah, for some reason, like, the energy that I'm getting is a little bit of, like, trust issues, or it's, like, just you're wary of letting go and in being in this sort of, yeah, like, mutually symbiotic equal relationship, because you're sort of, I feel like you're almost fearful of closing out this cycle. I think that it's uncharted territory. I think that you've always been in sort of relationships where the dynamics have been a little bit uneven, you know? It's like you doing something for this person and then the other person, I mean, maybe not reciprocating that, or like you needing to really I feel like that would be like just a historic struggle in your relationships, just some sort of unequal exchange. And it could be something like you go through periods of over giving, and then you go through periods of like over expecting from people. So it's like, you know, you give to people who don't really understand that as a love language, and then they don't understand when you want them to give and do things for you. And I think right now, so in the relationships in your past, I think that it's been a little bit like a little hazy. I think that they just simply haven't really been the right people. I think that they've been there probably to help give you lessons. And then the Lovers is getting clarified by the 10 of coins, the 10 of pentacles. So I think that you're a little scared of this, you know? I think that you're a little bit of, because the 10 of Pentacles itself gives me a little bit of a dualistic energy, because it gives me both the water energy, but also Pentacles energy, because it gives me 6 of Cups energy, but also, you know, it is the 10 of Pentacles. But, you know, water and cups, or water and earth, they're very dualistic, so they help each other grow. So I'm feeling like this is an energy of, you're a little bit wary. I think that there's a, hold on, let's continue getting all of the cards. Because I want to talk and I want to say things, and I'm pretty confident in the message, but also I'm just sort of wanting to be completely confident in the message. So let's get a clarifier for the 6 of Wands, getting clarified by the Queen of Swords. And let's get a clarifier for the World. The Emperor. Okay, so let's take in this energy. Okay, so first, with the Hanged Man getting clarified by the 7 of Swords, as I was saying before, there's an energy of you needing to let go, but then you thinking that you like letting go and accepting help, or accepting, you know, relationship or intimacy by other people, affection but from other people. I think that you're a little distrusting of it, because I think in the past you've been in sort of unequal relationships with unequal footing. So I think that, you know, it's either, you know, you held more power in the dynamic, or the other person did, or it was just some sort of unequal energy. And I think like with whatever energy that you're encountering currently, it's definitely a more equal energy. So it's someone who's very similar to you. It's someone who has like, you know, they're very similar to you, either in, you know, if before historically in the past it's like you always were the more attractive one, I think that now this person's very similar in attractiveness to you. If before, you know, you or the other person would be the one with, you know, more financial security, this person is going to be on equal footing with you, like financially. I think just like holistically, and like the ways that you feel like matter, or in the ways that you may be a little insecure about it being unequal, this person is very equal. Or even the things that you are insecure about it being equal, because I think that is what you're insecure about. I think that in the past, that the inequality of it almost made you feel a little bit comfortable, because it was like, it was codependency. And I think that that was just sort of an energy that you were used to, and an energy that you were comfortable with, because I don't think that you're probably very, oh my gosh, I'm getting a little deep, a little intense, but I don't know if you're very attuned or accustomed to like unconditional love. I think that the love that you've probably experienced mostly in your life is probably a little conditional, and so I think that it's very, very codependent. And I think that that's just sort of naturally the energy that you've not been seeking out, but the energy that you've been attracting. And so I think that just sort of, you know, I think that maybe that the way, for example, like the way that you present yourself to the world initially, like people's first impressions, it would, of you, like I think that maybe it would draw in the more codependent people. And so those are sort of the cycles you've been in the past. But I think that now you're encountering something that's a lot more equal to you. and I think that something that would not be able to be codependent, because I think that it's, whatever it is, whoever it is, because this is definitely a person, I think it's someone who's probably pretty healed themselves, probably a softer energy, feeling like you may be a little more intense of an energy. I think that you have probably a lot of karmic experience, and so I think that that's given you maybe a little bit of an abrasive nature, but take what resonates. Don't be offended by that, please. We all have it, but I think that whatever it is that you're attracting is very different from the people that you've been with in the past, and so it's a little uneasy for you. And I think that you feel like you're being deceived, and I think that you feel like if you succumb to it, if you let go and embrace it, that it's going to ultimately deceive you. And so you have this choice. You have this choice of, it's like you have a choice, but you really don't have a choice, because the Ten of Pentacles is just such a great card, and that's the one clarifying the Lovers. So it's like you have a choice of letting go of this, but like you don't really have that choice, because, what this card is giving me, it's like you have the choice of reading this card as the Six of Cups or as the Ten of Pentacles, or not even the Ten of Pentacles. You have it, I feel like maybe like the Six of Cups or the Six of Pentacles, but then it's like you're choosing to read it as the Ten of Pentacles, which is what it is. It has the opportunity to like fulfill you materially, but also like emotionally. So I think by that, it's like it's meant to give you like this relationship. I think that this relationship is going to give you things. I think that in the past you've probably benefited from relationships because it has been codependent. So I think that these people have done things for you, but in a very conditional way. And I think that this relationship is going to do things for you in a very unconditional way, and you will reciprocate that energy. But I think that, it's also going to emotionally fulfill you. And so I think that ultimately, I think that I'm sort of skipping ahead a bit, but I think that you're going to sort of let it crown you. You are going to sort of like succumb and surrender. You'll have this Queen of Swords. You'll have this Queen of Swords moment where, like, it'll just be clarity. I think that there will be probably something that happens, and my incense just fell when I said that. I think there'll be probably some sort of instance where it's like you need to close out this cycle. You need to both. Okay. Let me rein it in. I talk a lot. I have a very hyperactive mind. I think that there's going to be something you're going to need to close out this cycle and this cycle of codependency. And I think that you have, but I think that you need to recognize that you've closed it out. And I think that also now there's going to be a moment like with this person where I think it is going to be a little bit like an epiphany. I think that it's going to be just a moment where you're able to step back and logically say, okay, this person is not like the people in my past. They have given me proof that I've closed out this cycle. They've given me proof that that this pattern has ended, and that I can now take control, sort of very confidently, and move towards this person. So I'm very much moving towards your advice, but let's go get your advice. Because I think that it's going to be, let this person prove to you. That's the energy that I'm getting. Let this person prove to you that they are different than these other people. Let them show you this unconditional love that they have. Let them show you this opportunity for 10 of Pentacles and 6 of Cups. Because I think that, oh my gosh, not to talk, sorry, not to use this phrasing, but I think you may be a little bit more of an edgier energy, and I think that this person that you're attracting is a little bit softer of an energy, outright, but I think that they do have the potential for a little bit edgier of an energy, and even by edgy, I think that you could even just be very materially motivated, and I think that maybe from the outside, this person that you're dealing with, it seems like they're just very ooey gooey, mushy, lovey-dovey person who's just completely run by their heart. But I think that this person will they will show you they have some of your energy in them. They complement you in good ways, but they also are different from you in interesting ways. Alright, so let's get your advice. The Four of Cups. So yeah, your advice is to sit down and let this cup be handed to you. Sit down and let the options come to you. I'm honestly picking up an energy that for a lot of you, this could be someone that you have not met yet. It could be that you're in this energy right now if you have just recently closed out this cycle with the world. You've just recently, released these codependent relationships. You've just recently come to terms with the fact that relationships in the past were very codependent. Maybe it's like you've just recently started therapy, you've just recently finished therapy, something like that. But I mean, it's like an energy of be open, be receptive. This person's going to come in. Two of Wands, yeah. So your advice is to look, be on the search, keep your eyes open, and be accepting of, feeling out other energies. And I think it's not like, this person isn't hastily grabbing the cup. They're sitting back, letting the cups be handed to them one by one, and they're evaluating it. So I think your energy is just because you see this reading, don't hop on to the next person that you meet. It's like meet people, allow yourself to meet people, and then evaluate them, holistically. Let them prove to you who they are. Page of Wands. This card has been coming out for me so much recently, just in personal readings. So that's so interesting. Yeah, look at how similar this Two of Wands person and the Page of Wands are. They both have such similar stances, but this page is, this guy is just a guy and this is a page, so it's almost like this is the younger energy, this is the more matured energy. And so it's, you've learned lessons. You've just learned these lessons about codependency and, people and their actions, and maybe learning signs of, red flags or signs of codependency. And so I think that, right now you're being called to enact those lessons that you've just learned. You're being called to transform this Two of Wands energy into a Page of Wands. So you're being called to transform this sort of very eager, union, romantic, obsessed energy into just sort of a more wise, still romantic energy, but a more wise, laid back, attracting energy. You're not supposed to be, you're supposed to be keeping yourself open, but you're not supposed to be you're not supposed to put people, give people attributes for them. You're supposed to let them show you what attributes they have. This Page of Wands is almost giving me a magician energy, but a magician from the other people. Sorry, I'm not sure if any of this is making sense. It's you're supposed to be able to sit back and let other people see your worth and show you how much they think you're worth, which should be a lot, because I think that right now you're sort of understanding that you should have a lot of self-worth, and so you're being called to let people show you how much you mean to them and how much they'd be willing to start something with you. You have the Five of Wands. So yeah, this is it's a tipping the scales energy, but this is a very physically outright aggressive energy. But I think that you're being called to not really be that way. I think that, you're being called to, act where you see fit, but I don't think you're being called really, this is an energy of, if you see a cute person out and about, and you feel their energy, maybe they're with a group of people, you get a feel for their energy, you're with a group of people, they could possibly get a feel for your energy. And I think it's something you're not just supposed to see their energy and feel like it could be something you're down with and go over and pursue them yourself. You're supposed to sit back, see their energy, see that it's something you could be down with, and then wait and see if they also reciprocate that and feel your energy. And equally feel like they want to pursue you. So I think it's something like, you know, from all these piles, I'm getting just a very tempered, balanced energy, you know? I think we're all being called to sort of like take emotion out of it somewhat and add a little bit more logic, you know? Like we're supposed to, I feel like in the past, it could really be like you could have been the active one in pursuing people possibly, or like even maybe just initially, but I think that you're being called to sort of just like do the reverse of what you're used to, you know? So if you normally sit back and let other people pursue you, I think that you're being called to pursue people. I think that if normally you pursue people, I think you're being called to sit back and let them pursue you and then go from there, you know? I think that because whatever it is, this person that's coming in is going to be so different from the people that you were with normally. I think that it's necessary, like, you need to be you need to approach it with a different energy, with the energy of expecting this person to be someone completely different. All right, and we also have the King of Cups. So your advice is to continue your emotional healing. This journey that you're on, I think that you're sort of like fresh in it. Continue that way. Continue filling up your own cup. Understand that you're not completely, you know, you've learned lessons. We're never going to be completely healed though. So I think that you need to understand and validate yourself where, you know, I'm getting the energy that, you know, you could mess up a few times, you know, like it could be that you slip into, maybe it's like you start to slip into a relationship that is giving you red flags of codependency, but you continue to sort of like see the best in that person, have rose-colored glasses, and you don't actually validate it as red flags. But then eventually you do, you know, and it's sort of being called to understand, like, don't beat yourself up for not validating the red flag signs that you were given at first, but it's like, just be proud of yourself for cutting it off sooner than you had in the past. And one more card of advice. 3 of Wands, so that's beautiful. Your card of advice is that there is going to be a third energy made from this, you know? You are going to meet someone. Your current challenge is that you're like, you know, you're leaving behind codependent habits and relationships, but your advice is that, you know, because you've learned these lessons and you're going through these challenges, you know, okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. So, you know, the challenge you're going through is unlearning codependent relationships and learning how to identify the red flags and signs of a codependent relationship. And I think that necessarily in going through this challenge, you're going to, you know, learn the lessons from it. You're going to learn the signs of codependent relationships. And I think that your advice is in knowing that the light at the end of the tunnel is there's going to be a relationship that's created from this ultimately. So there is going to be like a, you're going to have to surrender to this person. You're going to have to trust this relationship. But I think that ultimately you are going to get there. I think that you're going to have to, you know, kiss a few frogs, kiss a few codependent frogs, be in a few codependent relationships, but ultimately you will learn the lessons and be approached with a person very different from these past people, a person that you can have a healthy codependent, non-codependent, loving relationship with, and you are going to have to just simply let go and allow that person into your life when they come around. And you're also just, your advice is let people show you if they're codependent, let people show you if they're not codependent, let people show you if they're healed, let people show you if they are not healed. And that's the challenge that you're going through, and that is your advice. So I hope you liked this reading, pile 3. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what resonated. Let me know what readings you would like to see, but keep in mind that I only do readings that resonate for me and that I have the energy to do. But I will leave your reading there. See you in the next one.